All right, today we're tackling a topic that is just as big and wild as the place itself, buying land in Alaska. For so many people, it's this ultimate fantasy of just escaping it all. But how does that dream actually hold up against the cold, hard reality? We're about to unpack the incredible pull, the surprising perks, and the major challenges you absolutely have to know about.
So let's get right to it. Is the last frontier calling your name? The whole idea of Alaska, it represents the ultimate getaway, right? More space, way more freedom, and this unique sense of opportunity. It's a really powerful draw, especially if you're feeling a little crowded in the lower 48. But the real question is, are you actually prepared to answer that call?
So, what is it really? What's the magnetic pull that draws people all the way up north? Let's take a look at the motivations, which, you'll see, are just as vast as the landscape. Just look at this list. It covers the whole spectrum of the Alaskan dream. You've got the classic outdoorsman looking for a private hunting or fishing paradise. You've got the modern homesteader who wants to be completely self-sufficient. And yeah, even the smart investor who's playing the long game. But look closer. The one thing that ties all of these together is this deep, powerful desire for independence and a real, raw connection with the wild.
Okay, first things first, let's lean into the dream. Let's talk about the incredible advantages that make Alaska so tempting. This is the part of the story that really grabs your imagination.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 365 million acres. To give you some perspective, that's bigger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. The sheer scale is almost impossible to wrap your head around, and it creates a place where true, honest-to-goodness solitude isn't just a possibility, it's pretty much the default setting. And here's the first big financial hook. Now, of course, prices change a lot depending on access, but you can often find huge pieces of land at a price per acre that would be a complete joke in most other states. For anyone with a more modest budget, that affordability just opens up a world of possibilities that you're not going to find anywhere else. And it doesn't stop at the purchase price. Here's another massive financial win. Alaska has 0 state income tax and no statewide sales tax. For anyone living there or investing long-term, that is a total game changer. It dramatically lowers how much it costs to own that land year after year. And finally, there's the lifestyle itself. A lot of these properties don't even have the option of connecting to public utilities. And for a certain kind of person, that's a feature, not a bug, This is the heart of what makes off-grid living so appealing. Total freedom from the system, where you rely on things like solar, your own generator, and your own smarts to get by.
Okay, we've been living in the dream. Now, it is time for a serious dose of reality. The upsides are very real, but they come with some major league challenges that you just can't afford to ignore.
And this right here, this is probably the single most important trade-off to understand. That initial price tag on the land might look great, but the cost to actually develop it, that can be shockingly high. Building your cabin, getting supplies out there, setting up your water and power, that's where the costs can really start to pile up. And these are the things that drive those costs through the roof. Just think about it for a second. How do you get lumber, or concrete, or a heavy septic tank to a remote piece of land? It can be a logistical and financial nightmare. Contractors are going to charge a premium to travel, and putting in your own power and water systems means a big investment right at the start.
And here's another tough reality. All that amazing freedom comes with a hidden price: getting there. A ton of these properties aren't on any road system at all. Your commute might be a boat or an ATV or even a small plane. And when winter really sets in, that access might just disappear completely, leaving you totally isolated for months on end.
Oh, and the climate itself basically dictates your entire schedule. You've got this really small window of time every year when the ground isn't a block of ice and the weather is good enough to actually build something. The super short construction season means any project, no matter how big or small, needs some serious planning and a whole lot of patience for delays.
So knowing the dream and knowing the reality, how do you even begin to move forward? Well, this next part is your blueprint, the practical, must-have advice you need before you even think about signing on the dotted line.
This table pretty much breaks down the essentials of going off-grid. You're thinking about solar? Awesome, but you have to plan for those long, dark winters and the high cost of batteries. Gonna rely on a generator? Okay, but how are you going to get huge amounts of fuel out to your property and store it safely? Every single system has a major catch that's going to affect your budget and your daily life.
And here's a quick but super important warning about the money.
Don't just assume you can walk into a bank and get a normal mortgage. Most traditional lenders get really nervous about financing raw, remote land in Alaska. What this means is a lot of these deals are done with cash or with financing from the seller. So you've got to have your financial plan locked down way early in the process.
Think of this checklist as your absolute armor against disaster. You have to verify that you have legal, year-round access. You need a professional survey so you know exactly what you're buying, and you need to understand every local rule before you hammer a single nail. Trust me, in Alaska, doing your homework isn't just a good idea, it's about survival.
So, we've walked through the dream, we've faced the reality, we've weighed the pros and the cons. Now we get to the verdict. And it really all boils down to one simple question. Is Alaska your frontier?
At the end of the day, it's all about self-awareness, like really knowing who you are. Alaska isn't for everybody. It's for the people who truly thrive in isolation, who look at extreme weather as a challenge to be met, not a reason to stay inside. It's for people who are comfortable getting their hands dirty with their own off-grid systems. If you value convenience above all else, this probably isn't going to be the right move.
And you know, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Succeeding in Alaska has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with preparation. You need resilience to handle whatever gets thrown at you, meticulous planning to deal with the challenges, and you have to go in with your eyes wide open about what life there is really like.
So, after exploring that breathtaking dream and that very sobering reality, we're going to leave you with this thought. The question isn't really, is Alaska worth it? It's, is it worth it for you? What does your personal frontier really look like?